First off, thank you guys for coming out. It's exciting times. Obviously, start of the season. So we're excited to get going. Our guys have been working extremely hard. A lot of new faces. We thought, we had a tremendous summer of meshing the new faces with some of the old, and we're ready to get going. When you practice since the 26th, it's been a grueling, but it's been a unbelievable process to merge these new faces and trying to put us in a position to be successful with this upcoming campaign. So we're super excited about the guys. We're finally getting healthy, which is a big proponent to have a successful season, is making sure that your guys are spending more time on the practice court, less time in the training room. And so we've done that thus far, and we're excited to get going. I thought we did a really good job with our non-conference schedule. Unlike previous years, we're not crisscrossing across the country. We have one plane flight throughout the non-conference, which is amazing, and that's the opener versus Georgia Southern. So we got some really good opponents, but the good thing about it, our fans and friends and family can be a part of some of the non-conference games due that they're all drivable distance, unlike my previous years where we were going across the country. So we're excited. With that being said, I'll open up for any questions.
What's kind of been the adjustment period in the offseason been like with all the pieces?
Well, we really went through that in June when we brought our guys in for the summer sessions. So this camp has been more deliberate in regards to what we need to do to prepare for the non-conference and obviously get us ready for MAC play. So the summer, we spent an enormous amount of time with trying to forge true relationships with each player collectively as a group, but also individually, spending more time one-on-one and then doing group sessions. And then we got after it on the court. And so through competition, we really forged a brotherhood that hopefully will bode well for us when we go out in competition come November 4th.
Coach, obviously, you won 90% of your score in the offseason. And when you talked about the this week, you said that you weren't trying to replace guys in the team, because it's hard to replace those kind of guys. You're trying to fill in kind of a vision for this season. How is the vision for this season different from the last season?
Well, it'll be more balance. I think the guys that we brought in were different in a sense of the type of player. We really focused in on well-rounded players that weren't just one-dimensional, guys that can actually score and play on the other side of the ball. In practice, we're actually having better statistical practices now than we did last year based on shooting percentage. On assists are at a higher clip because the ball is moving more freely. And we got guys who have bought into their particular roles, which will make it a better team, per se, when you have guys who can individually impact one side of the ball. And so last year we struggled with getting guys to be able to distribute and get guys who are receivers, meaning guys who need to get a penetrating kick three, a guy who needs a post feed. So we gotten more balance with some of the guys we brought in who are still capable scorers. We had 4 guys who have averaged 10 points or more at the collegiate level. Last year we didn't have that. And so we wanted to go get guys who understood both sides of the ball that can play well with each other. And that's a big proponent of this year's team, is that we're going to be really, really good at playing well with each other.
As a starting 5 or at least a 7 or 8 rotation started to emerge yet?
Absolutely. I thought, obviously James Dent, who's a transfer from Western Illinois, who was an 11-point scorer last year. We had an inter-squad scrimmage where he had 27 and 6. He's a guy that is about 6'4", can play 1 through 3. He's going to be a surprise to a lot of guys, and he's a guy that we're going to lean on. Quentin Jones is another guy who's a transfer from Cal Poly. And so we got size and depth. Terry Johnson, who's a freshman who is going to surprise a lot of people. He's a throwback 5-man, physical. So we got guys that can come in and play, but we're going to have some depth. But we got different versatility more so than last year. So I'm excited about that. But we do have, we'll have about an 8 to 9 man rotation.
What have been
been most pleased with, and what area do you think you could catch up on more before first tip off?
Well, I think anytime you bring in new faces, it's still a work in progress on the defensive end. We gotta be more connected on that end. I think offense for us tend to come a little bit easier because we really emphasize putting guys in positions that it could impact others. Like during the recruiting process, I wanted guys who had a high IQ that can move the ball. And so, but the defensive side is where you gotta win, especially in the MAC, especially going against the top 4 guys in the league with Toledo, Akron, and they have really good talent. So we got to be an unbelievable defensive team to limit teams to one shot, to force turnovers, to control tempo. And I think we're going to do that with our defensive style of play. But you got to be able to guard your yard. And so we're really focusing on being really good team defenders, but also being really good individual defenders so we can stay out of foul trouble, but more importantly, out of rotations.
Coach, look at this roster, the returners you have, who do you think has just the best impact?
We're expecting all those guys, being a year within the program, to step up. But Ethan Butler will have an unbelievable opportunity to make an impact, similar to what Amos did going into his second year within the program. He has the size, 6'8", 41-inch vertical. He's going to have the opportunity. Now it's just a matter of, obviously producing night in and night out, which is the expectations we have for him, and he's ready for the challenge. But he's a guy that I think will have a really significant role to help us become a MAC tournament team.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of incoming transfer players. Are there any freshmen on this team that you've seen something from?
Yeah, there's a kid, Mott. Jaden Mott is a kid out of Oklahoma. Unique in the situation. He didn't play his senior year due to transferring. He's 6'8", high motor kid, has the capabilities of shooting the ball, but he's still a freshman. He still makes freshman mistakes, but his upside is there. The one thing he does do, he plays extremely hard. Now we're trying to get him to slow down a tad because the game is still fast for him. Right? Once he gets it to slow down and he can start processing in real time, he's going to be a really good player for us.
And Coach, in the literature report, you think of guys like James Vance and Joe London, both guys with experience. How much does that help with roster like this?
Tremendous. You can't undervalue someone like Joe, who played in the NCAA tournament, won a game in a tournament. Just his habits, or game preparation, practice preparations for a Jaden Mott, a TJ, who are freshmen. Like that stuff is invaluable. His ability to really impact others off the court, where he knows in the locker room and it's a back-to-back practice and it's intense, coach is on him, right? He can talk these guys off the ledge and give them perspective. Like that stuff matters. Having leadership within the locker room matters. And then obviously his play on the court. He's a difference maker for us in regards to his ability to play 1 through 3, his ability to make shots, and then just the experience of I've been here before. We're okay. We didn't have that last year. A lot of those guys were first-time people in these moments. Now having Joe, where you can rely on his experience to calm the noise for not just the coaches but also for the players, and then being an advocate for the coaches to get these guys to understand the big picture and what we're trying to accomplish. We got to get through the fire in practice to get to where we want to go when the lights are on. That's the importance of having someone like a Joe in our program.
The guys you brought in, did you recruit to be able to play the style of play you want? Or do you have to evolve your coaching?
No, we recruited to what we wanted. And the basketball part will be the easiest part, right? It's the standards are the hardest part of coaching in this climate that we're in. And so I said this a couple months ago, like we wanted to be deliberate with the people that we brought in because in competition and trying to do something that hasn't been done, it's an extraordinary amount of like toughness that you have to have in yourself to be able to do it. It's really hard to win at a place that's never won consistently, right? And sometimes you think talent alone will get you there, and then you kind of like look over certain things that go into winning, and you realize when you get into the battle that stuff matters, right? You can't skip steps in the process of making something great, right? So we wanted to get the right people. I thought we had talented players that wasn't the right fit for what we wanted culturally, which is important. So, you know, the old adage, I can be wrong on a player evaluation, but I can't be wrong on a person, right? And so that's the most important thing moving forward is we got the right guys in. Now it's just a matter of putting in the work, being deliberate with what we're trying to get accomplished, and holding them to the fire. And then more importantly, having a Joe that understands what the big picture really is, and then every day we're working towards that.
Coach, you look at it taking, when you get a team like that, different players coming in, chemistry, you look at it and say, I want to give these guys 7 to 8 games to see where we are. Of course you want to win every game, but you look at, okay, I want to get to 10 games to see where we are, see if this is the right 5 I want starting. Does it take longer than that, or do you want to see, what type of progress do you want to see early?
Well, we want to compete, right? If we're competitive and the standards in which we set are being met, I think we're going to be in a good position. I don't measure wins and losses, I measure progress. Is Ethan Butler getting better? Is TJ getting better? Is Nas getting better? Is the entire unit as a whole, are we getting better? Because ultimately the goal is to be ready for conference play January 3rd, right? Yeah, we want to win as much as we possibly can, but we're a one-bid league. We understand that we got to get to Cleveland to ultimately get to the second part of our goal. And so we got to make sure that we're moving in the right directions every day in practice, because we practice more than we play, right? We play for 31 nights. We practice for, off the record, we practice for 20, you know, we practice 6 months. So for 31 nights, we got to be able to perform, and our goal is to be ready on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And so, but we got to make sure that we're sticking to the process of trying to get better every day.
Coach, earlier this week, NIU was put a lot of the academic season coach school. Is that something you can use as a chip on your shoulder, or is that something maybe that you have to outside noise?
No. I've always lived my life. I never needed acceptance from outsiders, right? So that's just someone else's opinion. So we don't get too high or get too low on what a publication is or says about you. We understand what we have to do, and we understand who's in the locker room. So we're pretty consistent with containing outside noise. My guys don't, listen to that stuff because it doesn't matter, right? The game is played between the lines, right? Because Notre Dame thought they were going to beat us too, right, in football, and we went out and beat them. So you focus on what you can control, and then you go from there. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.